The national parks of America, long celebrated as symbols of natural preservation, are places where nature remains pristine and majestic. Since Yellowstone became the world's first national park in 1872, countless other wilderness areas have been protected, creating a vast network of national parks across the United States. For millions of nature lovers, hikers, campers, and photographers, these parks are ideal destinations, places where they can touch the untamed beauty of the wild. Yet, hidden beneath the peaceful surface of these landscapes lies a darkness few are aware of, where the line between life and survival can be terrifyingly thin. Beneath the serene exterior of towering mountains, ancient forests, and majestic waterfalls lurk haunting mysteries without answers. Over decades, mysterious disappearances have occurred in these national parks, leaving behind chilling questions in the hearts of those who remain. Trails that weave through dense forests and cliffs that rise into the sky seem to swallow those who dare to enter. Some disappearances have happened in broad daylight, under the blazing sun, and then, suddenly, people vanish without a trace. No footprints, no cries for help, no clues, just a silent void and a lingering sense of dread, those left behind. Imagine walking down a trail in Yosemite National Park, the sun beginning to set, and darkness slowly creeping in. Around you, there's only the sound of wind whistling through the tall trees and the eerie noises of the forest at night. You glance back, but there's no one behind you. A strange feeling washes over you, as though something unseen is watching from the shadows. You quicken your pace, but the feeling won't go away. One wrong step, one poorly timed glance, and then you vanish without a trace. No one knows where you've gone. No one hears your cries for help. Only the deadly silence of the night remains, swallowing every trace of your existence. The disappearances in America's national parks are not just isolated incidents. They seem to share a common thread: sudden vanishing acts, without a trace, and no clues to what really happened. This unnerving pattern forces us to wonder if we are overlooking something significant, something happening beyond the reach of human understanding. National parks, once revered as icons of natural beauty, are becoming symbols of unexplained mysteries. The unanswered questions surrounding these disappearances will continue to haunt us, and perhaps they will always be part of the eerie, unknowable force that nature brings. Force far beyond our comprehension. America's national parks are symbols of natural preservation and a deep respect for untouched wilderness. Since the establishment of Yellowstone National Park, the world's first national park, in 1872, countless other parks have been protected and preserved. These areas not only serve as sanctuaries for wildlife and precious ecosystems, but also attract millions of visitors each year, from hiking and camping enthusiasts to photographers eager to capture nature's beauty. Each national park has its own history, from its founding to the conservation efforts that have spanned generations. However, beneath the peaceful beauty and majestic landscapes, national parks also harbor strange and unsettling stories. Many visitors have ventured into the wilderness of these parks, only to never return. These disappearances not only leave families and friends of the victims in pain and frustration, but also present investigators and rescue teams with mysteries that remain unsolved. National parks are vast areas protected by the government to preserve natural beauty, biodiversity, and cultural heritage. In the U.S., national parks are not only part of the national conservation system, but also play an important role in the country's culture and history. Every year, millions of people from around the world visit national parks to enjoy the fresh air, explore the majestic natural landscapes, and engage in outdoor activities such as hiking, trekking, and camping. Parks like Yellowstone, Yosemite, Grand Canyon, and Glacier are famous destinations that draw millions of visitors each year. The breathtaking natural scenery, waterfalls, mountains, crystal-clear lakes, and wildlife, bears, deer, and wolves, makes national parks attractive spots for nature lovers. However, alongside this natural beauty, national parks have also been the setting for numerous mysterious disappearances, with no clear explanations. Over the past decades, many disappearances have occurred in the national parks of the United States. The missing individuals range from experienced mountaineers and hikers to regular tourists. Some of these cases can be explained by accidents in the natural environment, but many others remain unsolved mysteries to this day. These disappearances often share common characteristics, such as leaving no trace, large-scale search efforts yielding no results, and, in cases where bodies are found, the victims are often discovered in strange conditions, or in places that defy explanation. This has led to numerous theories and speculations about what is really happening in the wild areas of America. One of the most captivating aspects of national parks is their untamed and natural beauty. Dense forests, towering mountain ranges, freezing glaciers all contribute to a stunning environment that also presents significant challenges to humans. However, the very wilderness and vastness of these parks also conceal hidden dangers that not everyone anticipates. The wilderness areas within national parks are often vast and difficult to access. Many regions remain unexplored, featuring treacherous terrain and harsh weather conditions. These factors can lead hikers or climbers to experience accidents or become lost. However, what is peculiar is that many of these disappearances cannot be easily explained by natural factors alone. Some of the missing individuals were experienced hikers and mountaineers, well-versed in handling difficult situations, yet they still vanished mysteriously without leaving any trace behind. When someone goes missing in national parks, search efforts are typically launched immediately, involving park rangers, rescue teams, and even volunteers from across the country. These searches often utilize a range of modern technologies, including helicopters, GPS tracking devices, and search dogs. However, what's surprising is that in many cases, even with the support of advanced technologies and equipment, the victims are never found. Search operations often extend over several weeks, sometimes even months, yet the results remain disappointing. The areas where the victims are believed to have gone missing are thoroughly scoured, from trails to ravines and rivers, yet no trace of them is ever discovered. In some cases, the searches conclude without finding a single clue, leaving the victims' families in a state of grief and confusion. This has sparked numerous questions about what is truly happening in the national parks. Are these simply unfortunate accidents in the wilderness, or are there other factors at play that we cannot yet explain? When disappearances in national parks cannot be attributed to ordinary accidents, various theories begin to emerge. Some believe that these mysterious vanishings could be linked to supernatural phenomena, such as the involvement of extraterrestrials or mythical creatures. These theories are fueled by the lack of concrete evidence regarding what happened to the victims, as well as the strange commonalities among the cases. Another theory suggests that the disappearances may be related to space-time anomalies, where victims are swept into another dimension or become lost in a time loop they cannot recall. While this theory may seem far-fetched, it has been supported by cases where victims were found years after they went missing, with no memory of what had occurred. Additionally, some speculate that the disappearances might be connected to criminal activities or secret conspiracies, where victims are kidnapped or murdered and the evidence is expertly concealed. However, no clear evidence has emerged to support this theory, and many of these disappearances remain unsolved mysteries. The history of America's national parks has witnessed many famous disappearances that remain unresolved to this day. One of the earliest and most well-known cases is the disappearance of F.P. Shepard in Yosemite National Park in 1902. Shepard, an experienced climber, mysteriously vanished during a hike at Glacier Point. Despite a large-scale search involving cavalry and tracking dogs, no trace of him was ever found, and his case remains one of Yosemite's first major mysteries. Another famous disappearance is the case of Glenn and Bessie Hyde, a young couple who went missing in Grand Canyon National Park in 1928. They had embarked on a river trip through the Colorado River in a boat and vanished without a trace. Their boat was discovered. There was no sign of the couple, and no evidence was ever found to explain their disappearance. Disappearances like these have become part of folklore and popular culture, raising questions about what really happens in national parks. Are these simply unfortunate accidents, or are there mysterious factors at play that we have yet to understand? The disappearance of Yijin Haa, 2008. Yijin Haa arrived at Glacier National Park in early July 2008, fully equipped for her planned hiking trip. She had intended to visit popular spots like St. Mary Lake and Logan Pass, but she also planned to explore some of the lesser-known trails to experience the natural beauty in her own way. According to her companions and witnesses, Yi was an experienced and very cautious explorer. She always adhered to safety guidelines when hiking, carrying maps, a compass, and informing others of her intended routes. No one would have imagined that someone as experienced as Yi could mysteriously disappear within a matter of hours. On the third day of her trip, Yi decided to hike alone on the Saya Pass Trail, one of the less traveled trails known for its stunning views of mountains and valleys. That morning, Yi left her campsite fully equipped, telling some people around her that she would be back by the afternoon. However, as evening approached, no one saw Yi return to the campsite. Her fellow hikers began to worry, and after several hours of unsuccessful searching, they reported her disappearance to the rangers of Glacier National Park. A large-scale search was immediately launched, involving dozens of volunteers, rescue teams, and even helicopters. For the first 3 days, rescue teams scoured the areas surrounding the Saya Pass Trail, from dense forests to treacherous ravines. However, no trace of Yi was found. There were no footprints, no signs of a wildlife attack, and no evidence that she had suffered an accident. Strangely, the Saya Pass Trail is not particularly difficult or dangerous for experienced hikers like Yi. Many people had traversed the trail without encountering any trouble. Yet, Yijin Haa seemed to have mysteriously vanished, leaving no clues behind for investigators. In the 2 weeks following Yijin Haa's disappearance, the search efforts continued on an even larger scale. Rescue teams expanded their search area, including underwater searches in nearby lakes, but no sign of her was found. Search dogs were brought in, yet they, too, failed to pick up Yi's scent. Despite favorable weather conditions throughout the search, this did not yield the expected results. The efforts of rangers, volunteers, and rescue teams seemed to be in vain, as all leads came to dead ends. This left investigators facing a profound mystery. Could Yi have wandered off the trail and into a remote area where search teams had not yet reached? Or did she encounter something inexplicable that no one could understand? Several theories were proposed, ranging from the possibility that she was swept away by an underground stream to the idea that she may have fallen into a deep ravine, unnoticed by anyone. However, no evidence supported these theories. The official search eventually had to be called off after no additional clues were found. Years passed, and the disappearance of Yijin Haa seemed to fade into obscurity. Her family and friends continued to hold out hope that one day they would find her, or at least find an explanation for what had happened. Then, in 2012, a group of hikers stumbled upon some clothing fragments and bones in a remote area about 10 kilometers from where Yi had disappeared. Investigators quickly determined that the bones and clothing belonged to Yijin Haa. However, this discovery only raised more questions, instead of resolving what had happened to her. The area where her remains were found was extremely difficult to reach, and not a place an ordinary hiker would likely venture. How had Yi ended up there without anyone knowing? And why had no trace of her been found during the initial search? Discovery of Yi's clothing and bones did not provide any clear clues about the cause of her death. There were no signs of an animal attack, nor was there evidence of a serious accident. Mysteries surrounding Yijin Haa's disappearance remained, and her case continues to be one of the most perplexing disappearances. Glacier National Park. Unanswered questions. The discovery of Yijin Haa's bones years after her disappearance only deepened the mystery of what had happened to her. Had she become lost and unintentionally reached a place where no one could find her? Or had she encountered something mysterious that science has yet to explain? These questions remain unanswered. Investigators thoroughly analyzed Yi's bones and clothing, but found no definitive evidence of the cause of death. Some speculate that Yi may have become trapped in a treacherous area and could not escape, leading to a slow death from hunger and exhaustion. However, this theory fails to explain why no trace of her was found during the initial search. Some other theories suggest that Yi may have encountered a mysterious phenomenon, such as the intervention of supernatural forces or a space-time anomaly. While this theory may seem far-fetched, it has still captured the attention of those interested in the strange occurrences in national parks. Yijin Haa's disappearance is not the only case at Glacier National Park, and many other disappearances in the park share similarly strange details. This raises questions about whether there is an unknown force at work in the area, causing these unexplainable vanishings. These disappearances are not just isolated incidents. They point to a larger issue regarding safety in national parks. With each new disappearance, questions about the causes and potential solutions become increasingly urgent. No matter how detailed and thorough the investigations are, cases like Yijin Haa's remain unresolved and shrouded in mystery. The disappearance of Jackson Chrysler, 2012. Just 4 years after Yijin Haa's mysterious disappearance, Glacier National Park witnessed another disappearance with similarly strange circumstances. This time, the victim was Jackson Chrysler, a 22-year-old from Washington State who loved adventure and often spent time exploring the wilderness. Jackson Chrysler's disappearance in 2012 not only drew public attention but also heightened concerns about the mysteries surrounding Glacier National Park, where those who enter may vanish without a trace. Jackson Chrysler was a young man passionate about nature and outdoor activity. He had participated in many hiking and mountaineering trips across various locations in the U.S. With his extensive mountaineering experience, Jackson was confident in facing the challenges of nature and was excited every time he explored a new location. Glacier National Park, with its majestic and untamed landscape, was the next destination in his adventurous journey. In June 2012, Jackson arrived at Glacier National Park with plans to embark on a week-long hike through the park's famous trails. He meticulously planned his trip, including preparing all necessary gear, setting his travel route, and informing his family of his specific itinerary. Jackson intended to explore several remote areas of the park, places that not everyone would be brave enough to venture into. During the first few days of his trip, Jackson sent messages to his family, updating them on his situation and sharing the exciting experiences he had. However, on the 5th day, all communication with Jackson suddenly ceased. His family began to worry when they received no further news from him. After several days of silence, they reported Jackson's disappearance to the authorities at Glacier National Park. Shortly after the report of Jackson Chrysler's disappearance was received, the rangers and rescue teams at Glacier National Park immediately launched a large-scale search operation. The search was meticulously organized, involving dozens of rangers, volunteer rescue teams, and helicopters equipped with thermal imaging systems. Search dogs were also deployed to track Jackson's scent. Initially, the rescue teams focused their search around the areas Jackson had planned to visit, including well-known trails and nearby landmarks. However, just like in the case of Yijin Haa's disappearance, all efforts proved fruitless. There were no footprints, no signs of a wildlife attack, and no clues suggesting Jackson had encountered an accident. It was as if he had vanished completely without leaving any trace. The search continued for several weeks, but with each passing day, the hope of finding Jackson alive grew dimmer. Authorities expanded the search area from popular trails to treacherous canyons and lesser-known locations, but all efforts were in vain. Jackson's family began to come to terms with the reality that they might never find their son. Although the official search yielded no results, some strange clues emerged during the search. One search team discovered a pair of footprints in a densely wooded area near where Jackson had planned to go. However, these footprints appeared only for a short distance before abruptly disappearing, leaving investigators unable to determine if they belonged to Jackson. This raised speculation that Jackson might have become lost and attempted to find his way back, only to encounter an unexpected situation that prevented him from continuing. However, there were no further signs indicating which direction Jackson might have gone, and the footprints remained just a small clue in a much larger mystery. Another theory suggested that Jackson might have been attacked by a bear or another wild animal. However, investigators ruled out this possibility after finding no signs of an animal attack, such as fur or blood traces. This only made Jackson's disappearance all the more perplexing. After more than 2 months of fruitless searching, the official search was called off. Yet Jackson Chrysler's case did not end there. Nearly a year later, in the summer of 2013, a group of hikers stumbled upon the body of a man in a remote area of the park, about 12 kilometers from where Jackson had disappeared. Authorities quickly arrived at the scene and confirmed that the body was indeed Jackson Chrysler. The discovery of Jackson's body brought some closure to his family, but it also raised even more unanswered questions. Jackson's body was found in a location far from the trail he had planned to hike, and there were no signs that he had become lost or suffered a severe accident. Investigators could not determine the cause of his death, and the condition of his body showed no signs of an animal attack. The discovery of Jackson's body only deepened the mystery surrounding what happened to him during his disappearance. How did Jackson end up in such a remote location without anyone knowing? Why were no traces of him found during the initial search? What truly happened to him in the final days of his life? The mysterious disappearance and death of Jackson Chrysler left many unanswered questions. Even though his body was found, what happened to him remains an enigma. Investigators could not come to a clear conclusion about the cause of Jackson's death, and his family still has no idea what really happened to their son. Some speculate that Jackson may have gotten lost and tried to find his way back, but eventually succumbed to exhaustion and a lack of food. However, this theory does not explain why his body was found in such a distant location without any signs indicating he had tried to seek help. Others suggest that Jackson may have encountered a mysterious force, such as supernatural interference or a time-space phenomenon. Although this theory may seem far-fetched, it continues to attract the attention of those intrigued by the mysteries within national parks. The connection to Yijin Haa's disappearance. Jackson Chrysler's disappearance shares many similarities with the case of Yijin Haa 4 years earlier. Both disappeared mysteriously in Glacier National Park. Neither search effort yielded results initially, and both bodies were found in difficult-to-reach locations with no clear explanation for their deaths. These similarities have sparked questions about the possibility of a common factor linking disappearances in Glacier National Park. Is this merely a coincidence, or is there something mysterious at play in the park? These questions remain unanswered, and Jackson Chrysler's case continues to be one of Glacier National Park's greatest mysteries. The disappearance of Gotfried Toyer, 2016. Gotfried Toyer, 55, had lived a life full of challenges due to illness. Despite his poor health, he did not let it stop him from exploring the world. Gotfried loved nature and often participated in outdoor activities like hiking and camping, even though his physical condition limited his mobility. In the summer of 2016, Gotfried decided to embark on a special trip with a group of disabled individuals to Paulides National Park. The trip was organized with the help of a charity that supports people with physical challenges who still want to experience nature. For Gotfried, this was an opportunity to enjoy the beauty of the national park and immerse himself in nature, even though he had to rely on others for assistance in many activities. Gotfried's group consisted of around 10 people, all with various physical limitations. The trip was meticulously planned with support from professional guides, and they chose easier trails to ensure everyone's safety. The trip went smoothly in the first few days, with beautiful weather, and the group enjoyed memorable moments in nature. However, on the fourth day, as the group was moving along a trail in a remote area of Paulides National Park, Gotfried mysteriously disappeared. According to those in the group, around midday, Gotfried and a few others stopped to rest, while the rest of the group continued ahead. Gotfried sat down on a rock and said he would wait there for a while before continuing. When the rest of the group returned to the stopping point, after about 20 minutes, Gotfried was nowhere to be seen. At first, everyone thought that Gotfried might have decided to move on by himself, or that he had gone to another spot to rest. However, after searching the surrounding area and finding no trace of him, the group of disabled individuals and the guides searched along the trail, calling out his name, but received no response. After several hours of unsuccessful searching, the group reported Gotfried's disappearance to the rangers of Paulides National Park. An official search operation began immediately. involving rescue teams and volunteers. The search for Gotfried Toyer was extensive and well organized, with dozens of rangers, search dogs, and search helicopters involved. The area where Gotfried went missing was thoroughly combed, from the trails to the nearby dense forests. However, like many other disappearances in national parks, the search yielded no results. One of the biggest challenges for the search teams was Gotfried's health condition. He could not have traveled far on his own due to his physical limitations, which made his disappearance even more puzzling. The people in the group insisted that Gotfried could not have gone far without assistance, raising questions about what had really happened to him. After days of searching without any sign of Gotfried, investigators began considering various theories. Could he have gotten lost and been unable to find his way back? Or perhaps he had an accident that no one was aware of. However, there was no evidence to suggest he had left the trail or been attacked by wildlife. Gotfried Toyer's disappearance sparked various theories about what might have happened to him. Some speculated that he might have gotten lost and wandered into a difficult-to-reach area, but this theory was hard to support given his health condition. Gotfried couldn't have traveled far without assistance, and there were no signs that he had left the trail the group was following. Another theory suggested that Gotfried may have been kidnapped or encountered a criminal situation. However, there was no evidence of third-party involvement. Investigators also found no signs that Gotfried had been attacked or forced to leave the spot where he had been resting. Others speculated that Gotfried might have encountered a mysterious phenomenon similar to other unexplained disappearances in national parks. Could it be that Gotfried accidentally stepped into another dimension or encountered a supernatural event that we cannot yet explain? Although this theory seems far-fetched, it has drawn the attention of those interested in mysterious occurrences. The search for Gotfried Toyer continued for weeks but yielded no results. Despite the involvement of search dogs and helicopters, no trace of him was ever found. This left investigators baffled and Gotfried's family heartbroken, as they remained in the dark about what had happened to him. Despite the many efforts from the rescue teams, Gotfried's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. His family and friends continue to hope that one day they will get answers, whether it be finding his body or gaining a clearer understanding of what occurred on that fateful day. Moritz National Park, though not as famous as Glacier or Yellowstone, has now become part of the ongoing narrative of mysterious disappearances in national park. Gotfried Toyer's disappearance has not only raised questions about safety in national parks, but also sparked discussions about mysterious phenomena that humanity has yet to fully comprehend. Gotfried Toyer's case is not an isolated incident. It shares eerie similarities with other disappearances that have occurred in national parks. These disappearances often have common traits: no clear traces, large-scale searches yielding no results, and victims either being found or never being found in remote or unexplained locations. Could it simply be unfortunate accidents in the wilderness, or is there a mysterious force at work in America's national parks? These questions remain unanswered, and Gotfried Toyer's case only adds to the mystery of what is truly happening in these wild areas. The disappearance of Glenn and Bessie Hyde, 1928. The adventurous couple. Glenn and Bessie Hyde were a young couple with a love for nature and a spirit of adventure. Glenn, 29 years old, was a skilled explorer with extensive experience in river navigation and outdoor activities. Bessie, 22 years old, was an artist and poet who had married Glenn shortly before they decided to embark on the greatest adventure of their lives. The couple began their journey in October 1928 on a homemade 20-foot wooden boat. They had prepared all the necessary gear and provisions for a journey that would last several weeks, intending to navigate through the most dangerous stretches of the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon. Before they set off, Glenn and Bessie were confident that they could overcome any challenges that their adventurous path might throw at them. Glenn and Bessie's expedition began smoothly. They managed to navigate through many treacherous and difficult sections of the river without encountering any major issues. Along the way, they met various people, including tourists, locals, and even park rangers at Grand Canyon National Park. Everyone they met was impressed by the couple's courage and determination. On November 18, 1928, Glenn and Bessie visited the famous explorer Emery Kolb at the Phantom Ranch Ranger Station located on the rim of the Grand Canyon. Kolb took a photograph of the and even invited them to stay the night. However, Glenn and Bessie declined the offer, deciding instead to continue their journey. That would be the last time anyone saw them. According to their plan, Glenn and Bessie were expected to complete their trip and return to the City of Needles by mid-December. When they failed to appear as scheduled, their family and friends began to worry and notified authorities. A large-scale search was promptly launched along the Colorado River and surrounding areas of the Grand Canyon. In December 1928, during the search, the rescue team discovered Glenn and Bessie Hydes' boat. The boat was found intact, stuck on a sandbar near Diamond Creek, a remote area of the Grand Canyon. Supplies, equipment, and travel journal were still on the boat, suggesting that they had not suffered an accident on the river. However, there was no sign of Glenn and Bessie. There were no indications of a wildlife attack, no evidence of a struggle, and no incident appeared to have taken place on the boat. The two seemed to have completely vanished from the boat, leaving everyone wondering what had really happened. The discovery of the boat without Glenn and Bessie raised numerous questions and theories about what might have happened to the couple. Did they leave the boat to seek help and become lost in the remote wilderness of the Grand Canyon? Or did they encounter a mysterious force that caused them to disappear without a trace? The disappearance of Glenn and Bessie Hyde has given rise to many different theories about what could have happened to them. One of the most popular theories is that the couple might have encountered an accident on land after leaving the boat to seek help. However, there was no concrete evidence to support this theory, and no trace of them was found in the surrounding area. Another theory suggests that Glenn and Bessie may have become trapped in a canyon or crevice and were unable to find their way back. The Grand Canyon is famous for its treacherous and inaccessible terrain. Getting lost in such areas can lead to serious consequences. However, despite thorough searches by rescue teams, there were no signs indicating that the couple had met with such an accident. Some people even speculated that Glenn might have killed Bessie in a fit of rage or by accident, then either committed suicide or deliberately disappeared. However, no evidence supports this theory. Those who knew Glenn and Bessie believed they had a happy relationship with no signs of conflict. Supernatural theories have also been proposed, such as the idea that Glenn and Bessie encountered some mysterious phenomenon, like the intervention of supernatural forces or a space-time anomaly. Although this theory seems far-fetched, the complete disappearance of the couple without leaving any trace has led many to ponder what might have happened. Years after the disappearance, few mysterious clues surfaced, adding to the enigma of Glenn and Bessie Hyde's story. In the 1970s, a woman named Georgie Clark, who often navigated the Colorado River, claimed that she was Bessie Hyde and had escaped from Glenn after he became violent. However, there was no evidence to back up her claim, and those who knew Glenn and Bessie did not believe her story. Additionally, some explorers and tourists reported seeing the silhouette of a woman or hearing cries for help near the area where Glenn and Bessie's boat was found. Yet, no concrete evidence was ever discovered to substantiate these accounts, leaving these eerie phenomena as unverified rumors. More than 90 years have passed since Glenn and Bessie Hyde vanished, but their story remains one of the greatest mysteries in the history of U.S. national parks. Their disappearance has left many unanswered questions, and the theories about what happened to them continue to captivate those intrigued, unexplained phenomena. The disappearance of Glenn and Bessie is not just a tale of a failed adventure, but also a reminder of the hidden dangers in the wilderness. The Grand Canyon, with its breathtaking beauty and formidable challenges, is not only a place to admire nature, but also a place that harbors mysteries that humans have yet to fully uncover. The disappearance of Dennis Eugene Johnson. 1966. Dennis Eugene Johnson, born and raised in California, was an energetic boy who loved outdoor activity. In the summer of 1966, the Johnson family planned a trip to Yellowstone National Park, where they intended to camp, hike, and explore the natural beauty. It was a trip the entire family eagerly anticipated, especially Dennis, who was always eager to discover new things. The trip went smoothly in the early days. The Johnson family camped near Yellowstone Lake and spent their time hiking along the trails. On July 2, 1966, they decided to take a walk around the area near Yellowstone Lake to admire the scenery and enjoy the fresh air. Dennis, as usual, was very excited and couldn't wait to run around and explore. That afternoon, while the family was walking along a trail near the lake, Dennis ran ahead a short distance to explore the area. The family could still see the boy from afar and weren't worried because the area seemed safe with no obvious dangers. However, in just a few short minutes, Dennis vanished from their sight. When the family reached the spot where they thought he would be, there was no trace of Dennis. Upon realizing that Dennis had gone missing, the Johnson family began searching the area, but to no avail. They called out his name and scoured the surrounding trails, found no sign of him. Their concern grew with each passing minute, and they quickly reported the situation to the Yellowstone National Park rangers. A large-scale search was immediately launched. Park rangers, rescue teams, and hundreds of volunteers joined the effort, hoping to find Dennis before nightfall. Helicopters were dispatched to search from above, while canine units scoured the ground for any scent of him. Despite their tireless efforts, no trace of Dennis was found. The search continued for weeks, involving more than 1,000 people. Rescue teams expanded their search across the entire area surrounding Yellowstone Lake, from the trails to the rugged canyons and dense forests. They even searched underwater in nearby lakes and rivers, but all efforts were in vain. Dennis Eugene Johnson seemed to have disappeared entirely without leaving a single trace. During the search, some strange clues surfaced, but none were substantial enough to solve Dennis's disappearance. A few witnesses reported seeing a mysterious man with a young boy near the Yellowstone Lake area around the time Dennis went missing. However, no further details emerged about this man, and there was no evidence to suggest that the boy was Dennis. Additionally, some small footprints were discovered in an area near Yellowstone Lake, but investigators couldn't determine whether they belonged to Dennis. Footprints led into a dense forest before abruptly stopping, leaving investigators with no further leads to follow. These signs only added to the mystery of what had happened to the boy. Another theory proposed that Dennis may have been swept away by an underground stream or river, making it impossible to recover his body. However, after rescue teams thoroughly searched the area around the water sources, this theory was gradually dismissed. No trace of Dennis was found in the water, and there was no evidence to suggest that he had encountered a water-related accident. Another theory suggested that Dennis may have been swept away by an underground stream or river, which would explain why his body was never found. However, after rescue teams thoroughly searched the area around the water sources, this theory was gradually dismissed. No trace of Dennis was discovered in the water, and there was no evidence to indicate that he had experienced a water-related accident. The disappearance of Dennis Eugene Johnson has led to numerous theories about what might have happened to him. Some people believe that Dennis may have been abducted by a stranger, but there is no concrete evidence to support this theory. Investigators considered the possibility of a kidnapping, but there were no signs of a struggle or any indication of third-party involvement at the scene. Another theory posited that Dennis had gotten lost in the dense forest and couldn't find his way back. However, given the extensive scale of the search, it was hard to believe that the boy could have wandered so deeply into the woods without being found. The area where Dennis disappeared wasn't particularly challenging for other children who had passed through, and there was no evidence that he had attempted to seek help on his own. Additionally, some speculated that Dennis might have encountered a mysterious phenomenon, such as the intervention of supernatural forces. While this theory seemed far-fetched, the boy's complete disappearance without leaving any trace led many to consider possibilities that science has yet to explain. The disappearance of Dennis Eugene Johnson shocked the public at the time and became one of the most notable cases in Yellowstone National Park. Dennis's family endured years of heartbreak, desperately seeking answers to what had happened to their son. Despite numerous theories and clues, no satisfactory explanation has ever been found. Dennis's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. This case also sparked discussions about safety in national parks, especially concerning children and inexperienced hikers. Authorities revisited the regulations and safety measures in the park after the incident, but questions about the hidden dangers in the wilderness still linger. More than half a century has passed since Dennis Eugene Johnson vanished, yet what happened to him remains a mystery. His family and friends continue to hope that one day they will find answers, but his disappearance continues to haunt those who are interested in mysterious occurrences within national parks. Was Dennis abducted, lost in the forest, or did he encounter a mysterious force that we cannot yet explain? These questions remain unanswered, and Dennis's case only adds to the growing sense of mystery surrounding what truly happens in national parks. The disappearance of Kevin Robert O'Keefe, 1985. Kevin Robert O'Keefe, 32, was an experienced adventurer with many years of hiking and camping in the wilderness. Born and raised in Oregon, Kevin had a deep passion for nature from a young age and spent much of his time engaging in outdoor activity. In 1985, he decided to embark on a major expedition, Glacier Bay National Park, a place he had long dreamed of exploring. Kevin meticulously prepared for his journey. He brought all the necessary gear, including camping equipment, food supplies, navigation tools, and survival gear. Confident in his extensive experience, Kevin had no hesitation about undertaking the solo journey through the remote and lesser-known areas of Glacier Bay. His plan was to explore the glaciers, climb the rugged mountains, and immerse himself in the untouched wilderness. The trip started smoothly for Kevin, and he sent a few letters to his family, updating them on the incredible experiences he was having. However, after several days without any news from Kevin, his family began to worry. When the day of his expected return came and went, with no sign of him, they reported his disappearance to the authorities. Upon receiving the report about Kevin Robert O'Keefe's disappearance, a large-scale search operation was launched. With the support of park rangers, rescue teams, and helicopters, search parties scoured the areas Kevin had planned to explore. Glacier Bay National Park, with its treacherous terrain and remote areas, made the search particularly challenging. Yet, no trace of Kevin was found. Throughout the search, rescue teams focused on areas where Kevin might have camped or passed through, from trails to locations near glaciers. However, like many other disappearances in national parks, no signs of him were discovered. There were no footprints, no evidence of an animal attack, and no indication that he had suffered an accident. Authorities retraced Kevin's journey and contacted people he had met along the way. No one knew what had happened to him. All search efforts yielded no results, and Kevin's family began to confront the possibility that they might never find him. Sometime after the official search had ended, a group of hikers stumbled upon several of Kevin Robert O'Keefe's personal belongings scattered near a glacier. These items included a backpack, camera, and a small notebook. Strangely, however, there was no sign of Kevin nearby. This discovery sparked various theories about what may have happened to Kevin. Could he have had an accident and fallen into the glacier, with his body being swept away by the ice? Or perhaps he became lost and had to leave some of his belongings behind to lighten his load while moving. Yet, there was no concrete evidence to support these theories. Kevin's notebook, found in his backpack, contained only brief journal entries documenting the early days of his journey. There were no signs that he had encountered any danger or significant difficulties. The notebook also did not provide any clues about what might have happened afterward. The disappearance of Kevin Robert O'Keefe has given rise to numerous theories about what could have occurred. One of the most common theories is that Kevin may have suffered an accident while hiking or climbing in the treacherous areas near the glacier. However, given his extensive experience, it's hard to believe that Kevin would have made a fatal mistake without leaving any trace behind. Others speculate that Kevin might have been attacked by a bear or some other wild animal. However, investigators dismissed this theory after finding no signs of an animal attack. This made Kevin's disappearance all the more perplexing. Supernatural theories have also been suggested, such as the idea that Kevin may have encountered a time-space anomaly or some other mysterious force that we cannot yet explain. Although these theories are difficult to believe, Kevin's complete disappearance without any trace has led many to consider possibilities that science has yet to explain. Kevin Robert O'Keefe's disappearance is not the only case to occur at Glacier Bay National Park. Many other disappearances in this park share strange similarities. This has raised questions about whether there might be a common factor linking the disappearances in this area. Could it be that Glacier Bay, with its wild and majestic beauty, holds secrets that humanity has yet to uncover? These disappearances are not just isolated incidents. They raise broader issues about safety in national parks. With each new disappearance, questions about causes and solutions become more urgent. No matter how thorough the investigations are, cases like that of Kevin Robert O'Keefe remain unsolved and shrouded in mystery. In the end, Kevin Robert O'Keefe's disappearance has left many unanswered questions. His family and friends continue to hope that one day they will find answers. But Kevin's case remains an unsolved mystery. What truly happened to him in the remote wilderness of Glacier Bay? Did he encounter a natural or supernatural force that we cannot yet comprehend? These questions linger, and Kevin Robert O'Keefe's disappearance continues to be one of the great enigmas of America's national park. The mysterious disappearances in America's national parks are not just tragic personal stories, but also open up larger discussions about safety in the wilderness. From Dennis Eugene Johnson's disappearance in Yellowstone to Kevin Robert O'Keefe in Glacier Bay, these cases raise significant questions about humanity's ability to cope with uncontrollable forces in nature. Each disappearance in national parks has its own unique characteristics, but they all leave behind unanswered questions. These incidents are not merely isolated events. They create a larger, mysterious phenomenon about what might be happening in the wilderness that humans have yet to explain. The disappearance of experienced adventurers like Kevin Robert O'Keefe or young individuals like Dennis Eugene Johnson forces many to ponder the hidden dangers that the wilderness may present. These disappearances often share common features, such as a lack of clear evidence, large-scale search efforts that yield no results, and, in some cases, personal belongings of the victims being found in strange locations without any logical explanation. Natural factors like wildlife, harsh weather, and treacherous terrain may play a significant role, but in many cases, there is no concrete evidence to suggest that these factors caused the disappearance. When these disappearances cannot be explained by ordinary natural elements, various theories have emerged. Some believe that the victims may have encountered supernatural phenomena, such as alien intervention, mysterious creatures, or space-time anomalies. Although these theories may be hard to believe, they continue to captivate those interested in the mysterious, because no other evidence has been found to explain the sudden vanishing of the victim. In addition, theories involving criminal activity or secret conspiracies have also been proposed, especially in cases where there are no signs of accidents or wildlife attack. Some believe that a kidnapper or criminal group might be operating in the national parks, but there is no solid evidence to support this theory. These mysterious disappearances have led many to reconsider safety measures when participating in outdoor activities in national parks. U.S. national parks attract millions of visitors each year, but not everyone is adequately prepared to deal with the potential dangers of the wilderness. These disappearances serve as a reminder of the importance of adhering to safety guidelines, bringing proper gear, and always informing others of your plans. Authorities have taken numerous measures to raise awareness about safety in national park, from providing detailed information about terrain and weather to encouraging visitors to travel in groups and carry navigation equipment. However, these mysterious disappearances remain a reminder that, even with thorough preparation, the wilderness can still hold unpredictable dangers. Although these disappearances are tragic and leave a lasting impact on the families and friends of the victims, they also draw the attention of those fascinated by the mysterious. The national parks, with their majestic and untamed beauty, have become places where humans face tremendous challenges from nature, as well as mysteries that science has yet to explain. These disappearances have inspired many folklore stories, legends, and even works of literature and film. They ignite the imagination, making people wonder what might be happening in areas that we have yet to fully control and understand. Could it be that the national parks are harboring greater secrets than we have yet to uncover? Although many disappearances in national parks remain unsolved, investigations continue. Authorities and those intrigued by the mysterious are still searching for answers about what happened to the victims. Modern technology, such as GPS tracking, drones, and satellite imagery, has greatly aided these searches. But sometimes mysteries remain beyond the reach of human capability. The future of investigations into these disappearances relies on a combination of modern science and patience in uncovering the unknown. While answers may not come immediately, the relentless efforts of investigators and the mystery-loving community continue to push the boundaries of understanding. Reflecting on the cases presented, from the disappearance of Yijin Haa to Kevin Robert O'Keefe, it becomes clear that America's national parks are not just areas of natural preservation, but also places that hold vast, unsolved mysteries. Questions like, what happened to the victims? Or is there a mysterious force at work in the national parks? Persist without satisfactory answers. These disappearances have sparked significant discussions about safety, the ability to confront nature, and the mysteries we have yet to control. While supernatural theories may be hard to believe, they continue to capture the interest of many, as no other evidence seems to explain the sudden vanishing of the victim.